Sorry, you're all going to get that message. I had to reset everything because I had one of my girls using my Zoom. And then I went to log in and I'm like, you're not the host. I'm like, oh, forgot about that. I got to go back in and fix that. Good times. I know everybody's pictures are so pretty. I need to update mine.
I know.
I need to go on my, I'm sure there's some way to do it. I just haven't figured it out yet. Happy Thursday, friends joining. I keep hitting them all, but it like bumps them out. I don't know what's going on. Maybe because everyone's trying at the same time.
Well, and if you don't have a password, I think you have to, you have to let everybody in, right?
Yeah, I just have to start letting them in. Yep. And I did that because, well, we've had some very strange, inappropriate things happen on Zoom. Yeah. So I want to have control of who's coming in.
I'll tell you what, this group doesn't look like they need any training at all. I'm going to be preaching to the choir today.
I know, aren't they so beautiful?
Yeah.
What I love is all different divisions, every aspect of life on here. I love it, love it, love it. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and start. Don't worry if you have girls literally coming in on your lunch hour. As always, we'll have it in. It's recorded. Usually it takes me about 24 hours. We get it on YouTube. So for those of you who are new, it's just Jennifer Enlow on YouTube. You can subscribe, and all of the past and all of the futures will be on there. That way, hi Mona. So that way everybody can be on that and have that information. And we have the honor and privilege today to have one of my dearest friends, Shawna Schneider, on here. And she is the real deal. I love Shawna, all of her, like to my core. You are so fun. She's been a mentor for me, a friend. She does this business right. And I'm not going to share too many accolades for her because that might be part of her training. And what I love about what we do today is, and what we're doing with these lunch and learns. And thank you again to everybody who's been given recommendations, because sometimes, I don't know the other divisions and some of those people, I haven't met them, right? Sometimes at leadership, we get to cross paths, but so any of those recommendations of something that you've seen somewhere or someone that we should have on here, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And we have a powerful lineup for the next few months. I'm just so grateful. And Shawna, thank you. Thank you. You've always been the image and epitome of Mary Kay and Go Give. And I appreciate your heart and the integrity in which you work, the fun, and the experience. Your stories make me laugh till my sides hurt. It's so fun. And so we're going to have the incredible Shawna Schneider teach you today. So I'm going to let you take over, friend.
Okay. Well, Jenny asked me to share about longevity in Mary Kay, right?
Yes.
I hope so, because that's what I planned. Because I have been with Mary Kay for 43 years. Oh my gosh. It's hard to believe. So I want to talk a little bit about how you build longevity. And you know what? I know there's some directors on the call, and probably some people that have been here for a long, long time that are consultants, because we have a lot of longevity in our area. So I may not have anything new for you, but hopefully it's just a reminder, of how we build longevity with new people coming in, because it's a totally different world than it was 43 years ago. When I started Mary Kay back in that day, the starter kit went to your sales director. And then once you had 5 bookings, they gave you the starter kit. 5 bookings in 2 weeks, you got your starter kit. Well, thank goodness. My recruiter was National Sales Director, Carrie Buskirk. And thank goodness she didn't follow that rule, because she'd probably still have my starter kit. Because when she said, go home and make a list of everyone you know that you could practice on, my list said the girl who walks by your desk and smiles. That was it. I didn't have anybody else. Now, she did walk by my desk and smile one day, and I booked her, and she said, I'll bring the girls in my department over. And from that, I got 2 bookings, and it was ongoing. But what I think, looking back, because in those days, a facial was only a party where everybody didn't show up. We didn't even book facials. We only booked parties. And so we saw lots of faces. I mean, a power start wasn't really that unusual in those days, because if you had 2 parties a week, that was 12 people. Times 4, there's 48. But I think the key about all of that, so my first point is relationships. Because I started when there wasn't internet, and there wasn't even call waiting, and there wasn't even cell phones or cordless phones, you had to talk to people. And because we had to talk to people, we develop some pretty deep relationships with them. And so I do have some clients that have been with me for 43 years. I'm just going to tell you, we had a class reunion a couple of weeks ago, and we did look a little better than everybody else, just saying. But what I really want to talk about with that is there is a challenge in today's world for us. How do we build those kind of relationships with all of technology? Because texting certainly has its place, but it can't be everything. It can't, and Facebook can't be everything, and social media can't be everything. There's got to be some way that your clients and team members feel loved from you. And so sometimes that is going to be some phone calls or voice texts, even to people, I think sometimes, so they can hear your voice, because we just get to the place where we're not communicating with people. It's just text, 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 text. And sometimes, do you ever get a text from someone and think, oh my gosh, we're going to text 75 times, or I can call her for 5 minutes. And so when you have that feeling, pick up the phone and dial and say, hey, I just wanted to hear your voice. I think that's really the key. And so voice to voice, figuring out how to do that with technology today. And of course, you know, I've got some clients, and you guys probably do too, that they just want to do their order every quarter or every other month or whatever. They want to send a web. I mean, I've got a gal, she orders easy ship every time. I haven't seen her for 4 years. I send her a thank you. That is all she wants. That's all she wants. So I have to love her where she's at, but I have some people that want to see me every quarter. And so figuring out how to best communicate and serve those people. So that kind of comes down to caring about them more than we care about the sale. That's really what it's about. If they feel that from you, you know what, they're going to stay with you forever. Because people, I have a girlfriend that owns a boutique, and I've been buying clothes from her for 25 years. Now, honestly, right now, I'm not really tickled about her clothes, but I'm not going anywhere else. You know why? I love her. We've been doing business together for 25 years. And if I'm going to give somebody my money, I'm going to give it to her. So number one, figuring out relationships and how to build them deep. And a lot of that sometimes is follow up. And I think sometimes, like when we develop a new customer and we're a little nervous about following up, I think that's just a matter of just laying that out there. So I'm going to say, hey, Jenny, when I sell a skincare set, I'm going to follow up with you in 2 or 3 days. So I just want you to know I'm going to call you. And then I'm going to call you in 2 weeks. Okay. Because I want it to be perfect. I want you to love this as much as I do. So contracting. So I was always scared at the beginning to make phone calls. So I got to the point where I contracted with them. So I told them I was calling. I had to call. The second thing I think is service. You know, that's what really sets us apart from everybody, isn't it? Service. Good, the best. So every order leaves my house or Dallas within 24 hours. No exceptions. No exceptions. Or they're going to get a really nice gift or something off of their order. Usually it's a really nice gift, because I had a client tell me last week, I was like Amazon, only better. That's what we want to be to them. We want them to think about us for everything. But that also means for the little customer that orders Appleberry lipstick twice a year. And when I go to her house, she can't get around very good. I hear her shuffling to the door. And then she opens the door and she says, can you come in? And I say, yeah, I can. When I'm taking Appleberry lipstick to Barbara, I block an hour out of my day. You know why? Because we're going to sit in the kitchen and visit. To me, that's service. That's caring and loving on people, because we're way more than selling lipstick, right? And my daughter's saying, my youngest is in college now, but she used to go on deliveries with me in high school, and she'd say, do we have to go in and visit? Yeah, yes, we have to go in and visit if they want you to. But I think it's just, again, more about loving people more than you need to. You know, going and then some. Mary Kay always used to say, much work is lost for a little more. That winners do the and then some. So it's what makes that delivery more special. Is it wrapped nice? Is there a sample inside? Do you do a gift with purchase? Do you get it out of your house within 24 hours? Sometimes I live 8 miles out of town, which I know in a city, that's no big deal. But if somebody calls me and needs something and I have it today and I'm at home, I'm going to take it to town today. They say, oh, you don't have to do that. I'm like, no one waits. I'm bringing it today, because usually by the time they figure out they want a cleanser, it's on the last day, right? Or the other thing I want to say about service is, even if they're wrong about something, I am wrong. I am always wrong. The customer is always right. You guys know that. Okay, the third thing I want to talk about, the reason that I stay forever. And would you give me like a high five when I have 2 minutes? Okay, so it's availing yourself of the training. You guys, when I started Mary Kay, I told Carrie, there's no way I will come to meetings. I was not a meeting girl. It wasn't for sororities, for group events, but I did go to one meeting just to be kind to her because she was so nice. And I got so excited at that meeting that I went home and made money. And I decided after that, I'm not missing another one of those. And so I availed myself of every weekly meeting forever. And Mary Kay raised me. They raised me. You guys, I was 19. I was goofy. I was kind of a mess. And if I hadn't gone to training, I still wouldn't be here today. So I say that to you because it's critical. And Carrie used to tell me every time I came to a meeting that I made $200. And the reason I made $200 is because when I left somewhere, I was going to make $200. And you know what? She was absolutely right. So whether it's Zoom or a live meeting or whatever, just don't miss it because you're going to pick up sometimes just the one little thing you need. Brings me to the third thing, working through fear. Because I know that some of us at one point or another, whether we're new or halfway in or wherever we're at, we experience fear in our business. Like maybe it's a scary person that you don't want to call or a new person that you don't want to call. I know that when I went to meetings back in those days, I would be brave in the beginning for about 10 minutes after I left the meeting. So that was back in the days of payphones. So I used to bring quarters and I would step outside the hotel room that we met in. And then I would make all my scary calls at the payphone at the hotel before I got in the car. Because if I got in the car and I went home, I'd be scared by the time I got there. The longer I went to meetings, the longer my bravery lasted. And then it would last a week. So I could get from meeting to meeting. So that's how critical it is. But working through fear, because I think we all, Jenny, you still have fear on occasion, don't you? A scary person that you don't want to call or stepping out of your comfort zone. And I remember in our date book, it said, do the things you fear and the death of fear is certain. And that is the truth, you guys. But I was so scared when I started that the very first event that I went to, that was like a guest event, I sat in the car and watched everyone walk in and then I went home because I was too scared to go in. Isn't that pathetic? That's really pathetic. But anyway, if I'm that scared, how many other people are that scared, right? That's why I always pick you up if you're my guest. But I think for me, the things that have helped me work through fear is number one, to just focus on the efforts. People will disappoint you, but the numbers never lie. So if you'll just focus on the numbers, the results will always be there. And so I used to have a little note next to my phone that said, it doesn't matter if she says yes or no, it only matters if I call. Because then when I was trying to talk myself out of calling, I look at that note and I go, it doesn't matter if she says yes or no, it only matters if I call. And so I started focusing on numbers. So if you came into my office and looked at my planner on every day, there's hash marks. That's how many contacts I made, but it doesn't have the yes or no's. It's just how many contacts, because that's how I view my success. And when I've done a certain number of contacts, I get to walk away. And I know that after I've done that things will start to happen. And when I first started focusing on that, I will tell you, it was an idea I got from another national. I'll think of her name in a minute, but I came home and started doing that because I thought I can do that. And you know what? It took about 2 weeks of working the numbers like that every day. Nothing happened in the first 2 weeks, you guys, just nothing really. And then all of a sudden, momentum, things started happening. And it wasn't even people I called necessarily, but you throw up enough good stuff in the atmosphere and stuff comes back. So if that helps you to work with fear, to just think about the numbers, then that's my husband calling. Magic Man is his song. I'm just going to tell you because he is magical. Okay. So the other way that I work through fear is to work through faith, you guys. We pray about our business and then we think about someone we should call and we avoid calling them. Oh my gosh. If you pray about your business and you've got a name in your heart, there's a reason that name is there. And so one thing that kind of helps me if I'm getting ready to make a scary call is just to go, okay, I'm just going to say a little prayer. Lord, if you have her to work with me, then open her heart and give me the words. And if you don't, then that she would just know that I'm yours. And then I make the call. And then you know what? it's on God. It's not even on me if she doesn't say yes. But here's what happens, you guys, when you work that way. It's timing. It's timing. So I might call you today and nothing would happen, but the seed is planted. And 6 months later, you might call me back and say, hey, remember when we talked about that? So working in faith and not fear, huge, huge. That's the only way that I can still do this after that many years. Because I'm just going to tell you, after 43 years, there's still some fear. But you know what I'm more afraid of? Having to drive someplace at 8 o'clock every morning and have to go to work. I mean, that's fearful to me. That takes a lot of discipline. So I think if you'll work the numbers and work in faith, that'll help your fear. And then if I was going to give, I'm just going to give you one more thing. Okay. Is that okay? And then if somebody wants to ask a question, but if I was going to share a success tip, well, I'll tell you, kind of back to the numbers. My daughter, Ashley, is a Cadillac director, and her goal is to get a booking every day. I get a booking every day. When she told me that, I wanted to kind of throw up a little bit in my mouth. I'm like, if I had to be under that kind of pressure to get a yes every day, I would just like, so my deal is that I make 5 booking contacts every day. 5 booking contacts. You know what? You still get a booking every day. That's what the average is. But I don't have to worry about whether they say yes or no. So working the numbers, but then, I think longevity and Mary Kay, you have to develop discipline, right? Because you're the boss. No one is ever going to tell you to go to work. Honestly, people say to me all the time, I don't know how you have enough discipline to work for yourself. And I say, I don't know how you have enough discipline to get in the car at 7:45 every morning and go somewhere, because I don't have that kind of discipline. So if we can learn to discipline ourselves, then our income potential is unlimited, right? For me, the one success habit that I will not live without is the 6 most important things list. Every day, I do the 6 list. It's on my planner. And if it doesn't get done, it gets moved ahead. But that way I know that, because, right, you guys, I mean, don't you just, if you work a little bit every day, something's going to happen, right? And so if you do the 6 list, then you're working every day. The other thing to keep in mind is if you work full time, if you have a full-time job or, other life happenings, we're never probably going to have a block of time to work every day. There's little windows and snippets. And if you have your 6 list, when a little snippet happens, you can do it. So like Monday, I had my dad at the doctor's office. We're sitting in the waiting room. I did my 6 list. And if you don't plan to do that, then life can fall apart that way. So anyway, I hope that gives you I hope you got one little idea from that. And thanks for having me be on the call.
Oh my gosh, I think it's amazing. And I don't know about me and some girlfriends have been doing this thing every day. We have a little group text, and we, instead of saying like, we do like our mental, we call it bathe because we exercise in devotion every day, but your mental bath every day. Mm-hmm. And instead of doing that, I said, why don't we post with each other our favorite part of our day, whatever it was. And I'm telling you, because sometimes we forget, like I said, you're in all the shuffle. I was kind of just reflecting on it. It's almost every other day, if not every day, one of us is sharing it about a customer that, oh God, I got to meet with, like my gal Deb Rose today. I love her. It should have been a 5-minute thing. I went in, I sat down, it took like an hour, but she gave me jam, homemade jam. And I love that. And then, but you make those relationships. So my thing today was, I got to see Debbie today. And I think there's so much to that. So yes, people are buying, people are doing all the things, but it's in those relationships that we build. And Shawna is amazing at that. If you've ever gotten to be in her presence or anything like that, you just know, you fall in love with her. Did anybody have any questions on an idea that she shared or anything you want to say to Shawna? I always like to open that up. I love that too, Sandy. It only matters that I call. I think sometimes we just have to take that. We want to have results to our effort, but I have found if I just focus on the fun versus like trying to force something to happen, it's way more enjoyable and I get better results.
One thing
I'd like to ask her a question.
Yeah.
Oh, Shawna, what was the prayer that you said when you were facing a scary call?
I'm just like, Lord, if you have her for me, then open her heart and give me the words. And if not, then just help her to feel your presence. because I don't know what it's supposed to be. And Cindy, I quit my full-time job 6 months in to Mary Kay. And I wasn't a director. I don't even know if I was a red jacket. I was matching my income solely on sales. So there was never a choice about if I wasn't going to work or not, because if I wasn't going to do this, I was going to have to go back to that. And to me, that was scarier, to work at a job that or just to work for someone else. Really, I wasn't cut out for that. But I think you develop those little things that, you got to figure out what makes you go. So that helped me to work through that. And also not to think too hard. A friend said about me one time that my strength was that I don't think too hard. But what happens is when someone's name comes to my mind, I just pick up the phone and dial. I don't think about all the reasons she would say no. If I start to do that, then I know that that's not, then I pray. Okay, God, I'm going to make this call anyway.
Love that. Anybody else have a
Thank you.
question? Oh, Ellen, I see your question. So all the recording, however you found out about the Lunch and Learn is where you'll see the recording. So if you saw it on a post. Now, again, I know I'm only part of so many Voxers and so many Facebooks, and I'm sorry about it. So if you guys get the recording, please feel free to share with everybody. Everyone's like, join my group. I'm like, I can't. I would love to post it, but I would spend all day posting in everybody's private unit groups and all the things. I just can't do that. So I could. I'm just not choosing to do that. So you all can share with anybody, but also Ellen, YouTube. It's just Jennifer Enlow, and you can see all the past ones too. Anybody else that has a question or anything they want to say to Shawna or affirm? Shawna, I love it. I'm going to give one example of just working in happiness, because that's what I always think about Shawna. I don't know necessarily how she feels her day, but I bet she's having fun. And that's, you always want to mimic people that you would love to trade lives with. And so we went to Top Golf. Kendall wanted to go. My daughter turned 14 last week. She wanted to go Top Golf. I don't know diddly squat about golfing. So if any of you guys are great at that, power to you. We get there and people, has anyone been at Top Golf? There's like legit professional guys that bring their own stuff in just to hit the ball. Not me. I probably was grabbing all the things. Okay. We get there playing Angry Birds. And I'm just like, whoa, just swinging. And I'm laughing and having a good time. And the guy, I'm sure it was like nails on a chalkboard for him. And he goes, ma'am, would you like guidance? And I said, and Sean, my husband, all the kids are very competitive. I don't know anything. And like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just swinging in happiness. I don't even know. I was like, whoa, trying whatever I want, grab whatever thing I want. And the guy goes, ma'am, can I help you? I'm like, you can help me, but I'm winning. Apparently I'm great at golf. Who knew? And I said, they're like, it's beginner's luck. I'm like, here's the deal. I'm not focusing on, I got to hit that. I got to make that hole. I'm just hoping to hit the ball. And so I really took away from that. And they're like, what are you doing? Swinging in happiness. I don't even care. And I was dancing, doing all kinds of stuff. And I goes, let me show you. He did show me. I tried to do it his way. I didn't get as good. And he's a professional golfer. I said, listen, just let me do it my way. I'm winning. Who cares? I'm winning. And he goes, I can't even watch you. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'll go when you're not paying attention. But the guy who was helping us, the waiter, like, you have a person in your bay. He was laughing so hard. He goes, I said, all my goal is to hit the ball. And so sometimes when we're focusing on $1,000 party, or I got to get 3 team members, just try to hit the ball. Just get the booking. The result is going to come and you're going to win. And I walked away the next day and I'm like, that's what I have to do in life. I need to quit focusing so much on, I got to make the ball in this hole. I was doing amazing. It was insane. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do every day. I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to swing for the ball and see what happens. And just swing in happiness in life. I think we need to do that because the world is full of misery on its own. We don't need to add to it. So thank you, ladies, all so much for joining, sharing. Sandy, thank you so much for sharing with your unit members. I saw your post there, and I hope it always benefits somebody somehow. I know, just so you know, Shawna, you're probably going to be overseas because One Director has people in other countries and they translate these and pass them on. I don't know how you do all that, me and technology, but I love that it's helping everybody everywhere. So you are the real deal, my friend, the best of the best. Thank you so much. I hope you all have an amazing Thursday and powerful next 4 days. Bye, my friends.